Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Thursday. It's May 30th. It's 2024. And you know it is not hyperbole. Notice the big word out of your handsome and buffed host, hyperbole, to say, oh, we have a lot to cover. And we're going to try and get through it in 1 hour. But first, if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And if you want to email me, just be nice. Why? Because we'll be nice back. It's okay to disagree 100%, but do it nicely. It's cool. I have people email me that completely 1,000% disagree with everything I'm about. And you know what I say? God bless. Hope life treats you well. Anyway, this is serious talk about everything that affects you and your job and your industry and the markets and the economy and everything else under the sun. And today, A, we're going to start out big time markets, and B, a little bit later, we'll be whining and complaining because the takeover of our lives with rules, regulations, fees, fines, mandates, taxes, dictates, and giveaways continues with the man in the White House that professed his whole life to be a moderate, but it is way left of Bernie Sanders. Wait till you hear the latest proposal. Remember, we are nothing more than a gargantuan slush fund to this man. And it does not matter how much we send him in taxes, he will run up debt and deficits beyond the beyond that we never, ever, ever, ever could imagine in order to solidify power. That's what a socialist is. That's what a Marxist is. He defines it. But I hear very often from people in the market, notice the segue, that 50% of a stock's movement is based on the sector. I've always disagreed. I've heard people say 60% of a stock's movement is based on the sector. I've always disagreed. I've heard people say 75% of a stock's movement is the sector. I've always disagreed. I think it's in the 80 to 90%. And how do I know this? I'm not too sure. There are many people out there that have actually spent thousands of hours going through past bull and bear markets, leading stocks in leading groups. And in the recognition, with no bias whatsoever, no bias, that nearer to 100% of a stock's movement is in a sector that is moving in that direction. Yes, there are definitively outliers. 40 stocks in a sector and one or two are very weak, 38 are in a big bull market. Of course, that's why it's not 100. But for the most part, our studies have showed that. And why are we bringing that up today? Well, Salesforce.com. I don't know if you know this, but this is a stock that is in the Dow. I don't know if you know this. This is one of the famous cloud-based software company, contact customer relation management, with about 36, let's call it about 35 billion in revenue, run by a gentleman named Mark Benioff, very brilliant guy. And yet it's down 19.88% today, $54 to $218 as I speak, as the market's closing in 1 minute. state for the record, $54. 54 times 6.78 is equivalent to 366 Dow points in the Dow today. And why do I bring it up? It is very simple. It is very simple why I bring it up. In recent weeks, if not longer, and yes, it's longer, we have been harping on many smaller to mid-sized software stocks that were already in their own private bear markets. We have harped on it. We have called out their names. But we have also told you, boy, there's still some strong names out there in software land. Well, whatever was strong ain't strong anymore because of Salesforce.com. So you have a group that's already under some pressure. You already have a group that's already under some pressure. And then what's, I would say, top 3 to 5 important software companies implodes. Well, I have to tell you, full disclosure, since we're bringing it up, we came in today owning CrowdStrike. When we saw what Salesforce.com did, immediately we were on notice today, and as it was down $7 today, we're out of CrowdStrike. It finished down $34 today. We owned, full disclosure, Microsoft. We sold that in the first half hour. Finished down $14.50 today. These were the two stalwarts of the software. And then what about the ones that are not such stalwarts? Are you ready? Anybody hear of ServiceNow? Symbol NOW. Down $87 today to $643, breaking 6 months of trading to the downside. Volume 361%. Adobe down 31 today. Intuit down 35. Palo Alto Networks down 13. I can do others. HubSpot down 42. I missed that one. And HubSpot, there's been rumors of a buyout. It's called the cousin stock theory. And I got news for you. In software today, the cousin stock theory came home to roost. And at the close of the day, the IGV, which is the North American Technology Software Index, a bludgeoning today. Big, icky break to the downside today, which means the whole software group is done. What does that mean for technology? By the way, Oracle down 6%, SAP down 6%. I can go on, but I gather you get the point. Software stocks trashed. We don't know how far it goes, how long it lasts, but we deal in real time, and dang, in real time today, they said night-night. One of the stronger names that you probably have never heard of, Nutanix, NTNX, smaller name, down 23% today on their earnings, breaking down today. Software So just letting you know, software, persona non grata in our eyes at this juncture today. Catching my drift? And we hate to start with bad news, but got to tell you like it is. Which takes me to the other part of the equation I want to bring up, and this is a complaint about the Dow. And we've done this before, but we think it's of note even more today. That'll be up next. Other areas of the market, movers of the day, and oh boy, Joe Biden's going to hear from us. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
Okay, this goes for whether it's the upside or whether it's the downside. So you got Salesforce.com today, as I stated. Dropped today. What did I say? It dropped at the close today. It would dropped Salesforce.com 19.73% today on 12 times average volume. It dropped $53.58 by the close times 6.78. That's the Dow divisor. It dropped 363 Dow points on 19.73% drop. If Intel dropped 19.73%, not making this up, it would have been down 40 Dow points. Two stocks, same percentage moves, but to the Dow index, one is 360 Dow points, the other's 40. And that's because the Dow is price weighted. So a $30 stock like Intel versus a stock that was $270 before the day. That $270 stock has a ninefold weighting. Ninefold on Intel. So why even have Intel in the Dow? Why not have 30 stocks that are all near around the same price? It's about as stupid as can be. And by the way, Salesforce.com is not even the highest price stock. The highest price stock is United Health, and it's 16 times of import than Intel. In other words, it's not in other words. It's so weird to know that the Dow has this going on. If Intel went from 30 and went to 0, bankrupt, it would be 200 Dow points. In order for United Health to lose 200 Dow points, it would be dropping about 7%. 6.5%. Talk about ridiculous weightings on the most quoted index in the world. And we're saying this up or down. Today it just happened to be down with Salesforce.com. Just letting you know. It's so weird. And you would think some smarter people at Dow Jones would say, this does not make any sense whatsoever. But no. Don't I make sense? Unbelievable. 16 times of importance, United Health versus Intel. Intel can double tomorrow, and it'll be 200 Dow points. United Health doubles tomorrow would be 3,200 Dow points. Screwy, huh? What else happened today? Late in the day, they kind of raided a bunch of the AI also. You know, NVIDIA with the big ramp up in the last few days off of earnings. I can tell you it started at about, it was already down, but then, and beats the hell out of me why, at around 320, for the next 20 minutes, it dropped $30. So it's given back a decent amount, and that's the strongest stock out there. So they were really coming after some things today. News-driven somewhat. We'll see what tomorrow brings. But dang is all I got to say on the movement out there today in software, in semis, not all, in the AI space, and in the head honcho top dog big cheese of NVIDIA. We'll see what tomorrow brings. And that's that. Otherwise, you bounce today in the worst areas. You know how we've been telling you? Transports, financials have been weaker. The economically sensitive areas have been weaker. The housing stocks have been weaker. They were all green today. With the Dow down 330, remember what we said? Salesforce.com was 360 Dow points. So really, you take out Salesforce.com, the Dow's up 30. By the way, add in Microsoft. Microsoft is the other software stock, and Microsoft on the day finished down 14.5. So let's add 68. 68 times 6.78, 461 Dow points. Take out the two software stocks, and the Dow was up 130. Because what did they do? They bounced Home Depot. Why'd they do that? Because interest rates came down a little bit today. Interest rates have been ticking up. A definable correlation still. Not 100%, but it's up there. So my screen of boring is mostly green today, while my screen of software, semis, AI, and all that stuff yanked. With the Dow down 330 and the NASDAQ down 183 and the NASDAQ 100 down 198, advanced declines were 28.11 on the New York and 23.17 on the NASDAQ. Why? They finally went after some biggins. There's your story of today. And a big wow. Because Salesforce.com is not a fly-by-night. This is a well-followed, well-respected company that got juiced. Up next, what else we got for you? Thanks for being here. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
And by the way, in the aftermarket, and I got to tell you, we get some holy crap moments in the market. There's one called MongoDB, symbol MDB. Stock was 509. Software was $510 in February. Closed today at $310. Yeah, think long term. It's $234 in the aftermarket. Wow. Dell has been a very strong stock as of recent. I've been suspect of it. It's been going along because of AI. But sales growth, minus 20, minus 13, minus 10, minus 11. Remember, we've been telling you about some of these tech stocks with how is this thing going up? Closed at 170. I got it at 146 in the aftermarket. And that's not helping the cause, I can promise you that. So there's just some roughness going on in tech land. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. Anything else I got for you in the aftermarket that matters? Well, Nordstrom's is down. Whoopee-doo. Now, on the upside today, just to let you know, Burlington up $35 to $235 on good numbers. Best Buy up 13% on crappy numbers. Wait a minute, Best Buy reported sales down 7% and the stock's up 13%? Huh? I always pull the huh. Hewlett-Packard, damn, new yearly highs on a 1% drop in sales. That was up 16%. Again, some things are just, hey, what can I tell you? But just letting you know, we love technology. They smoked the living crap out of technology stocks today, and especially the software. And we said, full disclosure, especially when we got to talk about it, we had two names coming in. We sold them both early. Why? Sector. And Microsoft, when they're getting a Microsoft, you really got to wake up. So just letting you know. And we're not telling you to buy, sell, short, or cover. We're telling you what we think, and every now and then we tell you what we do. We're very careful about what we do because we know if you listen on Monday but you don't listen on Tuesday, and just so you know how we work, we are flexible people here. We're not, just buy and hold forever. Don't worry, everything's okay. We believe you can buy and hold, but just make sure what you're buying and holding is working. Anyway, boy, that MDB. After we're done with the radio, we'll... I got another one, VEEV, Viva Systems. That's gone from 236 to 194. I got it at 180 in the aftermarket. Happy days. Oh, by the way, another software stock. So I don't know what's going on in software land, but that ain't no hill for a climber, kids. But the broad market had a better day today. We'll give you that. The problem with the broad market has not been acting well, and it's more of a bounce than anything. And I'm not so sure I'm going to give it too much credence, except to say if the 10-year yield comes down, it's probably some good news. They bounced the housing stocks because interest rates came down. They bounced this, that, and the other thing because interest rates came down today. And that's a little bit of the story of today. And man, I need a nap. That's all I got to say. Quite the day. A lot of jello moving on the plate. And just so you know, we hate selling. That may sound crazy, but we hate selling. Because if we're selling, we're saying something's up. Our goal is to buy a launching pad and just own it. Let it keep behaving and behaving and behaving. But when you have markets like this, very, very tough. It is a rare stock that just... You remember the S&P? It was rare that we were able to buy the S&P in November and not sell it to April. Yippee. What else today? Gold bounced a little bit. No big deal. Oil's up a little bit. The big story again today is they bounced the transports. They've been very weak. They bounced the housing, been very weak. They bounced the financials, not very weak, but weaker. They bounced the economically sensitive names. They've been weaker. And they trashed the living pazooties out of the tech, software, and all that crap. And I must tell you, they almost left no stone unturned, including the almighty NVIDIA. Down 52, including the aftermarket today. It was down 42 today. It's now down 52. That can change, of course. Gary, how does that happen? Well, it just moved up 150 points. Now, if it goes 150 and down 50 and then up another 150 and down 50, we'll take that as long as they want to keep doing that. But it ain't that easy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are so worried about who's running the country. I have coined the phrase, it's like the Ebola virus versus the bubonic plague. At this juncture, we don't know if Donald Trump wins the election, what he's going to do, because he's been out for 4 years. We know what he did for 4 years. We know what we've complimented him on, and we know what we've complained about. But we certainly know what's going on with Joe Biden, who is making Bernie Sanders look like Ronald Reagan. And I say that without any sarcasm whatsoever. I say that without any sarcasm whatsoever. The other day, I did throw out some sarcasm. I said to you on this show, because he's already taken $160 billion of our tax dollars to relieve student loans. And he acts like he's doing it. But he don't have any money. He's not reaching in his pocket. It's us. And flippantly I said, what is he going to do, mortgages next? He is now calling on Congress, this Marxist control freak, to give first-time home buyers a $10,000 tax credit. He he's telling he wants the taxpayer to give $10,000 to first-time home buyers. What the hell country are we living in? You know, we've never used the word communism, but you know what communism is economically? It's take away from and give to others to make everybody equal. And I'm not saying he's going to do that, but he's certainly trying to go that way. And what does he do? He uses us as his big, gigantic slush fund. And that $160 billion already relieved because of us, it's become a footnote because he's running $2 to $3 trillion a year deficits, depending on which rusty abacus you use. Imagine a $10,000 tax credit out of our hide. You know, we've already got a $7,500 tax credit for electric vehicles. Why is that? You know, electric vehicles are very expensive. That means the wealthy are getting a $7,500 tax credit from us. But as we've stated to you, the reason they're able to get away with it, by the way, and we're not saying Republican, Democrat on this. We're just saying this guy is worse than them all. Where does it end? I was mocking when I said mortgages. And now he's doing that. What's next? Credit cards. Up next, what else? I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. You know, I've never watched The View, ever. But every now and then, I get to see like a video from The View. And the reason I don't watch The View, because I don't give a crap about other people's opinions. On either side of the aisle. I come up with my own opinions. And I can promise you, I abhor those that kiss the ring of Trump 1,000%, regardless of how bad he is or good he is. And the same goes the other way. I'm straight down, which means I don't care what party they're in. I left the parties a long time ago. They don't give a crap about you until about 6 months before an election. But I saw a video of Joe Biden's wife, who actually can put out a sentence without going blah, 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 blah. But you know what she said? Trump. This is good versus evil. I'm thinking to myself, shouldn't he save the word evil for like Hamas? But I digress. And then she said, we won't have a country. Destroy democracy. And I'm thinking to myself, is she talking about her husband running $2 to $3 trillion a year deficits? Democracy. Handing out our taxpayer dollars on people who signed a contract to take out loans. Democracy. Interesting. I may have to teach her a thing or two about democracy. And that is, you don't run $2 to $3 trillion a year deficits and lie about it. You don't give away people's tax dollars in order to buy votes. There's your freaking democracy, Mrs. Biden, or I guess they call her a doctor. Is she a doctor? Some people complain she's not. Either way. That's Joe Biden today. Marxist socialist control freak in chief. Using you and your tax dollars to do his bidding. And remember what we've told you. The reason they get away with it is because when you go to your bank account today, if you had saw a debit of $200 and next to it said student loan relief, and you said, wait a minute, I don't have student loan. Oh, but you're relieving other people's. He could not get away with it. But he knows it's just going to go into that debt column. The one that he is making Trump look like a piker, who made Obama look like a piker, who made Bush look like a piker on massive, uncontrollable, unaccountable spending in order to solidify power. Joe Biden, he needs to lose this election. And I say that knowing the alternative. And notice in that commentary, I didn't even mention what he's done with our border that he has destroyed to the point where we have no idea how many bad people are in this country ready to murder and maim. Did you read about the one where they found 2 people in a car on one of our military bases and they're thinking they may have been casing it? Huh. They came across the border. And next, the judges. A Chicago judge. And it's not just Chicago. It's in these other areas too. There is a video of a woman taking a police car away from him and running him over, which one would think is called attempted murder. Let out. Psychological. All's good. Not making this up. Which takes me to the mayor of Boston. And I wish I was making this up. I really do. I'm not. The mayor of Boston has a list of crimes that she said should not be prosecuted. Trespassing, shoplifting, and it doesn't have a number. Larceny, disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace, receiving stolen property, minor driving offenses. Okay, I got that one. Breaking and entering. Should not be arrested for. Wanton or malicious destruction of property. Threats. No. Minor in possession of alcohol. I'm okay with that. Drug possession with intent to distribute. No, leave them alone. A standalone resisting arrest charge. You mean you're going to resist arrest? Oh, don't worry. And if the criminal knows that he can resist arrest and doesn't have to worry, and the shoplifter doesn't have to worry, how many stores are going to be shut in Boston? And who the hell is electing this mayor that will destroy this city single-handedly? The mayor of Boston. I'm not even going to name the person. Hey, go to downtown Boston. You see that Lululemon? Go steal a few thousand and just walk out. You're good. What have I said about these schmuck politicians? Until it affects them, and I don't even know if until it affects them. They hate you. They disrespect you. They treat the criminals better than lawful citizens. And it's going on in other cities. I don't know where it's going to end. And ladies and gentlemen, you better be reading up on all this. It's getting worse. Hey, have a great week. It's not even weekend. Have a great evening. Drive carefully when you get home. Do like we do. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I'll be on with Cavuto tomorrow at noon, Fox Business Network, whining about something else. Hopefully tomorrow a better day. Peace out all. Stay well. Be well. Good night.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.